All right, guys, let me get this out. I am live talking about Stranger Things Season 3. I'm going to be talking about all the spoilers. So if you have not seen Stranger Things Season 3, go watch the rest of the show. Make sure you add this to your watch later playlist and then come back and join me and watch what I think about the show. Let me just kind of put this out there, though. By the way, guys, if you haven't already noticed, I did upload a review of Midsummer, the new Ari Aster horror film. So definitely go check that out. It is on my channel. So let me just kind of get this out there. Oops. Okay. Let me just post to Facebook real quick and then also Twitter. Sorry guys, I'm looking at what my friends have posted on my Midsummer review. Two. Okay. Sorry, guys. I'm taking forever in setting this all up. I'm trying to just kind of live videos are always fun because they're different. And yeah. Oops. I don't want to do that. Sorry, guys. Give me just 1 second. Trying to get my stuff all situated here. You also might be hearing stuff in the background. I'm keeping my window open because it's so hot right now in Rexburg. I actually might close my window because that is really annoying. I don't want to be hearing fireworks as I'm trying to do this. Shoot, I didn't mean to do that. All right, guys, I'm going to close my window because people are still blasting off fireworks. Give me a quick second. Okay. Let me just post this up at Twitter. Guys, I'm the worst. Every time I go live, I always do this, and I apologize. Okay. Now here we go. Let's talk. What's up, XOXO Panda? Welcome to the chat. All right, let's talk about Stranger Things Season 3. The things that I took away from this season, let me just start off at the top with this. I really enjoyed this season. I thought this was the second best season, obviously from season one. Season one to me is still far superior, but I enjoyed everything we got in this season. And there's a couple of reasons why. Number one, I loved the cheesy aspect of what they did with certain characters and with a lot of the plot this season moving forward. The whole Russians being evil thing, I really love that. That's really cheesy. It's a vintage thing to do in the 80s. And so I love that the show kind of had the nerve to do that. I really love that. Panda, I'll get to your comment in just a second. But keep posting in the chat what you liked, man. Just keep posting in the chat. I really loved the new characters. I was very skeptical about the character of Robin, and I actually ended up enjoying her a lot. I thought she was a really good character. Carrie Elwes, I love The Princess Bride. It's my all-time favorite movie. So seeing him in this was really fun. I thought he brought a unique aspect to a corrupt politician in Hawkins. And I loved that there was actual stakes this season. This is a spoiler discussion. So if you have not seen all of the episodes, please click off of this video, come back and watch this. Because I don't want to spoil anything for anyone. With that being said, you have been warned. The final episode where Hopper dies, that was very surprising. It was very surprising, and it showed that the show, it's got stakes. Because one thing that we've always seen, we've seen characters die, Barb, Bob, over the first two seasons, but it's never really felt big. You know what I mean? Because every single character that we love, whether that be Dustin or Mike or Eleven or Steve, who is right now still my favorite character in the show. And I loved him in season 3. I love what they did with his character. I just really enjoyed the fact that the show took the swing at, having Hopper die. Now, does that mean he's dead? I don't think so. Because the post-credit scene after the season quite doesn't say that Hopper's still alive, but it almost points to the fact that Hopper's not really dead. And it makes sense. He's a fan favorite. He has been a glue in this show. He has been a staple for this show. And to me, I've really enjoyed what this show has given us with his character. I've really liked the dynamic that he has with Joyce. I really also love the father-daughter relationship between him and Eleven. And so that to me has always been kind of cool and kind of unique. And I really like Hopper. So I don't think he's truly dead. And I mean, we'll see. Maybe they're pointing to another American. I don't really know who else you could choose at this point. But I think it's a little wink and a nod to the fact that Hopper's not truly dead and his story's not over, because we don't ever see him die either. We see like 5 random scientists, die. They get pretty much melted or whatever happens to him, but you never see him die. And so it's going to be interesting. We'll just have to wait and see. And this show, season 1, I loved so much. It was my favorite show. Game of Thrones obviously is still my favorite show, but season 2 for me was a step down. They did a lot of things that just kind of didn't make sense, and it just seemed kind of more like they were trying to go for that nostalgic factor. I love the story. Don't get me wrong. I still really like season 2, other than the episode where Eleven goes off on her own, which everyone hates. But season 3 has gotten me even more excited for Stranger Things once again. I binge watched the whole season on Thursday. I was going to make this review on Friday because it's 4th of July. I'm celebrating the family and stuff. I'm not going to get on here and make a review. And then yesterday I went off. I saw Midsummer. If you have not checked that out, XOXO Panda, who's in the chat, go check out my Midsummer review after this. Don't leave the chat, but go check it out after this, where I reviewed the new horror film Midsummer. So I saw that yesterday, and then I was going to do this again on yesterday. But yeah, it's been but hold on. Sorry, I'm losing my train of thought. One of my friends is texting me, so I'm kind of like getting off track. But I was going to do this yesterday, and then I never got time because we decided to kind of, spend more time with family. And so I've just kind of had a busy holiday weekend, which happens. And so, yeah. This season, though, I loved it. I loved the humor of it. I thought the humor in this season was better than in season 2. The character of Max, I wasn't super high on, or Billy, actually, for that matter. I wasn't very high on in season 2. I loved what they did with their characters, especially Billy. I really loved that Dacre Montgomery was able to display his acting chops. I think he's a really talented actor, and I loved what they did with him. I love that he was the host for the Mind Flayer, and he was the one setting up all of this confrontation. He was pretty much the villain throughout the season. And it was kind of unique and kind of cool to actually have like a mainstay human villain in the show, which we haven't really had that before. The Mind Flayer stuff worked for me. And to me, the whole Russian thing, again, I thought the Russian thing was great. I love that they took so much time with Dustin interacting with Steve, having that little bromance once again, because that was one of my favorite things from season 2 was, Steve's whole character arc changed drastically. And that's one thing that I love about this show is they take like characters from season 1 who have already pretty much established themselves, like Steve, who was a big douchebag, or like Hopper, who's just this really angry, visceral sheriff, kind of rough exterior. And they really extract them from that and they make them almost different and they let them develop. And so I really love that. I love the fact that they did not have any more Nancy, Jonathan, Steve drama this season. I hated that in season 2. I wasn't a big fan of it in season 1, to be honest. I don't like love triangles. I've never been that type of person. Just pick a person and go. That's my philosophy. And so I'm really happy that even when all 3 of them were on screen, it just felt natural. And it felt appropriate the way that they did all 3 of those characters this season. And they let Nancy and Jonathan have that romance blossom. And Steve realizing, you know what? I loved her, but it's not part of me anymore. I'm moving on with life. And that's really what the season's all about. It's about moving on. It's about being someone who's growing up and having to learn from your mistakes. And so to me, I just really enjoyed that about this season, that this season was all about growth. The kids grew up. I mean, I think the kids are phenomenal actors. I think Finn Wolfhard is one of the greatest young talents. I think he's got a career in the future. Millie Bobby Brown is phenomenal. Even though I didn't like her in Godzilla King of the Monsters, I thought here she was amazing. She's always great in Stranger Things. Again, I just really love what they've been able to do with this show. Now, Netflix has been canceling a lot of shows after 3 seasons. I don't think this is going to be one of them, but you never know. I really hope it's not one of them. I've grown to just adore this show. I love it. It's my second favorite show on television ever. I don't watch a lot of TV shows. I mean, it's really this and Cobra Kai. They're the only ones that I really they're a staple to what I like to watch. And I've also been watching that HBO Euphoria, which is pretty good. If you have not checked out Euphoria, you should totally watch it. I think that show is very visceral, and I like shows like that have this nature to them, and they have these characters that kind of grow, and you can understand where they're coming from. And that's really what we get here in Stranger Things. I loved all the mall stuff. It worked for me. I loved I really loved this season. I mean, there's a few negatives. There's some nitpicky things that I didn't really like. For example, one of the big things I didn't like was the whole evil doctor for Russia, which I like the cheesiness aspect of it, but I got to say it was kind of a little too much at times. It was a little over the top. One of the things, probably the biggest thing for me that I did not like was the random musical number that happened between Dusty and Susie. You find out Dustin's not Dusty, sorry. Dustin and Susie. You find out Dustin's girlfriend, Susie, actually exists, that she lives in Salt Lake City. And then they sing Neverending Story, which they have great voices. Don't get me wrong, but it's just so random. And it just felt really shoot in. And so that was one thing that I did not like from this season personally. But other than that, I love this season. And it's really awesome to be able to get a show like this that understands its audience, that understands the way to develop a story, to develop characters. And I'm just really looking forward to what season 4 is going to bring. Now, to me, what they hinted at for season 4 with the Demogorgon coming back, that's a little less of a villain as opposed to the Mind Flayer. So I feel like we're kind of decreasing the stakes a little bit. But the Demogorgon, I think, isn't going to be the main, I guess, monster for next season. At least I hope that that's not the case, because I want to see something bigger. I mean, the Mind Flayer could come back, sure. But to me, what makes this show so good is not really the villain. It's not really the monsters that are involved. It's the characters. And I just really love I really have loved what they have done with these characters. It's been really nice to see something like this that takes so much time in crafting a story around its characters and around these young actors too. I mean, I think what they're doing with these young actors is fantastic. And I also really love that they split up the cast this season. I thought that was great. So those are just my quick overall thoughts of the season. I like the stakes. I like what they did with Hopper's character this season. He became one of my favorites. The emotional letter that he gives to 11 at the end of the season it really hit me. I felt that emotion. It felt real to me and authentic. And so I loved it. I really loved this season. So I want to hear what you guys thought about this season. Hello, XOXO Panda. My favorite part was when 11 said, "Boys don't lie," and Max replied, yeah, I like that. I like that 11 kind of broke up with Mike, because it was just unique. It was fun to see her kind of become her own person, and it showed a lot of depth to the 11 character that we haven't seen before, because she's relied on so many other people in these past 2 seasons. So I really have loved that we got a chance to finally see her style, her sense of the world, and the way that she wants to kind of go about and interact. And I thought that was really nice. That was a really nice change of pace. Sorry, my English is bad, but it surprised me that Billy had a heart. Yeah, that was really surprising. And dude, don't worry about it, Panda. Like, it's totally fine. And I'm sorry if I talk a little too fast for you to understand. But yeah, Billy at the end, I thought he redeemed himself really nicely. And I thought that was really good what they did. How he saved 11, ultimately. He sacrificed himself for 11, although he had done evil things the entire season, because he was under the direction of the Mind Flayer. And so I thought that was really nice. And I'm really sad to see Billy's character arc done. I really liked Billy as a character. I thought I did think there was a throwaway part to this season with the whole Nancy Wheeler having a crush on Billy. That was such a throwaway thing. It never was explained. It never went anywhere. And to me, I mean, it wasn't why. Why was it even a thing? Why did it exist? Why was it even in this season? Because if you're telling me that whole point was for Nancy Wheeler to develop this understanding that she doesn't want to screw up her family or make her family upset with certain decisions or cheat on her husband, then I don't understand why it was so throwaway. Because it's like, hey, I'm going to teach you swim lessons, privately, blah, blah, blah. He wants to hook up with her. She wants to hook up with him. And then all of a sudden she gets dressed and then she doesn't even show up. And then it doesn't even matter anyway because he's under the control of the mind flayer. To me, that was so throwaway, and I could have done without that, in my opinion. But I really loved what they did with the Billy character this season. I really loved it. And Dacre Montgomery was was phenomenal. And so, I never say never, but I think he's done, and it's sad. Like personality or remorse. Yeah, I think it's more of realizing that he was under the influence of the Mind Flayer, because he's a strong, independent person. And I think with Eleven connecting with him and her understanding his situation, his home life, what had happened to him that really made him the person that he is, to me, it makes a lot of sense why Billy had that sensibility about him to save Eleven at the end. It just made more sense to me. And honestly, it makes sense why they ended his character arc, because there's nowhere for him to go at this point. And so, yeah, I don't think it was remorse. I think it was more of, he was taking his power back. And he did it. But he warns her to stay away. That's true. He does, but he's under the direction of the Mind Flayer. What I'm saying, Panda, about my problem with the whole Nancy Wheeler crush on him thing is it felt, not Nancy Wheeler, I'm sorry, Karen Wheeler. It felt so throwaway that him and her even had like something. It's just, why even include it? You know what I mean? I understand he wanted her to stay away, but I mean, what does it really serve in the story? Nothing moving forward. And I don't know why this season paid so much attention to Karen Wheeler, in my opinion. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of the Karen Wheeler character. I honestly think Mr. Wheeler is more interesting than Mrs. Wheeler, but that's just me. And I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of people that don't agree with that, and that's fine. That's your opinion. My thought on it, though, is, to me, the Mrs. Wheeler character has always been very secondary, maybe even like thirdly in the entire story. And you kind of have her more in the forefront this season for what? For what? I mean, I didn't understand that. It was very throwaway for me. I mean, if you guys don't agree, let me know. Let me hear it below in the comments. Like, I want to hear your guys' thoughts on that. To me, it was just very, very weird that they went that direction in the first episode and then completely immediately threw it away. Hold on, guys. I got a text from one of my buddies. So, overall, guys, I really enjoyed this season of Stranger Things. I thought it was a nice step up from season 2, and it built upon the principles of why I loved this show so much from season 1, and that is the character interactions, the relationship between the characters, and the stakes. I felt like last season had zero stakes, because it's always been, when Eleven has her powers and she's there with them, everything is fine. But this season, what I love about it is now Eleven, she kind of lost her powers. And that makes this show even more interesting, because they had to come together as a group and actually take down the Mind Flayer, which was very fun to watch, because it gave the show a new life. It really breathed life in this season, or in this show. And I really love that. I love that this show is able to do things differently, where it's not the same thing over and over and over again. And so it really plays to the strength of what the show can be moving forward. And I want to see them spice it up a little bit. I want to see some different things. And that's what we got with this season. And I loved it. I absolutely loved it. The kids are growing up really fast. I feel like this show probably has one, maybe two seasons left in it. And then we're going to see some more spin-off stuff. I would love for this show to end after season 5, if they go 5 seasons. To me, when a show drags out and continues to move at a very slow pace, the show loses its credibility and it loses its steam. And I know all of us love Stranger Things. I know it. If you clicked on this video, it's because you love Stranger Things and you love talking Stranger Things. But I don't want it to last forever, because every show that does that starts to lose so much steam, and you just see the same thing over and over and over again. It becomes a formula that you copy and paste. And I'm happy that season 3 was not that way. We got some new storytelling, and we got some new characters that I really enjoyed. I loved the interaction between Robin and Steve. I thought they had great chemistry on screen. And I love the fact that Steve necessarily didn't get the girl. And I thought that was a very interesting take on what I had expected. Going in expectations wise, I didn't think the show was going to do what it did. And that was surprised me. I knew that I was hoping I was going to enjoy this season. And they took 2 years to craft the story. And I thought it was an effort well achieved. I really enjoyed this season. I hope you guys did too. And I'm just really looking forward to what Stranger Things can be moving forward. Anyway, guys, what did you think of Stranger Things Season 3? Let me know below in the comment section. I'm really interested to hear what you guys think. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Did you think it's the best season? Where would you rank this season in all 3 seasons? Me, season 1 is always still number 1, then season 3, then season 2. But let me know your guys' ranking of the seasons down below. Make sure you guys follow me on Instagram at instagram.com/the_film_fan and subscribe to my channel for more content just like this. If you guys are in the chat right now, I'll take a couple more minutes to answer any questions that you have or any thoughts that you have on the season. I wanted to keep this stream kind of small and short because I have things I got to get done, and I also don't want to take too much of your guys' time, so you guys can, rewatch this and play it back. And yeah, I really love this show, and I'm looking to do more live streams soon. I will have a video up tomorrow. Finally, my Jackie Brown Quentin Tarantino movie review will be up tomorrow. And expect more Quentin Tarantino reviews as well this upcoming week. I got Kill Bill coming out very soon. And then I also have my Spider-Man Far From Home spoiler review, which will be up on Monday night. I'm going to do a live stream for that. So if you're interested, I'm going to give you a couple more days to watch Spider-Man Far From Home so we can talk about all the good spoilers in it. I've wanted to do that earlier as well, but I just haven't had time, and so I'm going to do that on Monday. And yeah, next weekend, I am going on a family reunion with my wife, so I will not be watching Stuber or Crawl, so don't expect reviews of those movies. I do plan on watching those 2 movies, though, probably the following week, but I will not have reviews up. You can go check out Letterboxd. Follow me at letterboxd.com/Nicholas Acosta, capital N, capital A, where I'll post those reviews up on my Letterboxd account. You can also go check out where I currently have all the 2019 movies I've seen ranked right now from number 1 to number, I think, 37, 38. But yeah, guys, I mean, that's really it for this video. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for talking some Stranger Things. And I really hope that you guys had a great and awesome 4th of July weekend. I hope you continue to enjoy your weekend. And go out, see Spider-Man, watch Stranger Things again. I can't wait to watch this season all over again. I'm probably going to watch all 3 seasons in a couple months. Probably around October, I'll probably watch all of the seasons again, kind of do like a little bit of a marathon for myself. And yeah, it's just, I love watching Stranger Things. So anyway, guys, I'll see you guys in my next video. Goodbye.